Let me know when you see it live and we'll start.
Okay, we're on.
Yay. All right, hold on. And I'm just back up real quick.
I'm frozen though in the stream. Like my face is frozen, but I can hear me.
You're moving again on my.
Okay,
How's that look?
hold on. Waiting. Because anything you do, I have to wait like 10 seconds. Yeah, okay, we're good.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so firing off in 3, 2, 1. Hello out there, it's December 12th, 2016, and welcome to episode 12 of Summoner Sift, the League of Legends podcast. I'm back again with Projector.
Hey guys, good to be back. Glad to talk about League today.
Yeah, it's the exciting time, right?
That's right.
Fresh,
Everything's new.
full of dreams and hope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 10-0 in my placements, and I'll be diamond.
Right now, I'm on the way.
I'll be diamond right out of the gate. That's what everybody thinks, right? So,
Well, there was a thing today on Reddit that said there were like 4 diamond players like win trading in Flex Q on EU West, and their argument was we can like Q snipe each other, which basically means we can get one person on the other team. If we all queue up at the same time, we'll end up in the same game because there's not that many players at high elo, and they're win trading all the way up to Challenger at the beginning of the season.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure Riot's super happy about that.
So yeah, they're doing exactly that.
Flex Q showing how great it is, right?
Yep.
Hooray! Let's split the parent base even further. That's worked so well in the past with like Dominion. Yeah. So I mean, Dominion. Yeah, man. Like Dominion was a great game mode, and no one would play
Nobody played it
because splitting the player base is not a good idea.
No one would play it because no one was playing it. That's
like, I was on board with Dynamic Queue back when, because at least it was like everybody. It's like, here it is. And like that made a little more sense to me, but like splitting the base like this is like a really weird thing.
Yeah.
So it's lead to I haven't had like really crazy queue times yet, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So all right, so this episode we're going to talk about placements. We're going to talk about season 7. We're talk about what you need to be doing, right?
Yeah, or at least what we think you need to be doing.
What you think you need to be doing. So I've finished my placements. You're just starting them, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So tell me, how did your placements go?
All right. So I went 8-2. Let's start off with a little bit of. I played most of my games toward the end of the season and all of the preseason on my Smurf, because I was learning Lee Sin, and I played virtually no games at all during the preseason on my main account, maybe 1 or 2 games. I think I lost them both. And so I started off, I went 3-0 early on, and I was crushing, playing. I got jungle virtually every time. I won a game on Lee, and then I won a game as top Nautilus. Who is just the freest of free lows right now, by the way. Like, if you want to win and like literally not have to work for it at all, you should just play Nautilus. Just play Nautilus top.
Yep.
But so then I lost a game on Rengar, who I'm not super happy. I know everyone thinks he's like crazy broken, and I know he's overtuned, but I actually don't like the way he plays now. And then I rattled off 5. Let me see. So I won 4 in a row after that. So 7-1. And then I lost a game, and so I was 7-2, and then I won a game. So I went 8-2 in my placements, which was pretty good. I thought. I was like, "Oh, great job, Mike! Solid work." Slams me right in silver 4.
From where were you before? Where were you before the season reset?
I was gold 5. Yep.
Okay.
So I think that silver 3 or silver 2 is about the exact median. Of MMR. So I think my theory is that I think a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, Silver 4." But I am used to like dropping almost an entire tier, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But I think my MMR was just not very good, and with the preseason stuff factoring in, that was not good for me because I hadn't played a game like on that account in like 6 months
forever.
or something. Yeah, so so a lot of people be like, "That's crazy. How did you go 8-2 and
Drop almost a
full tier, right?" So let's talk a little bit about how they work, right? Like how MMR soft and hard resets, because I think there's going to be a lot of people doing this, right? They're going to go like, "My buddy went 3-7 and he's like full division higher than me. That's crazy." That's super common around this time. So let's talk about a little bit about how they work.
Yep.
You want to start that off?
So I think, and the numbers aren't exact because we don't necessarily have access to Riot's MMR. All we see are our tier, our placement. So like gold 5 or silver 4, whatever. Like that's what we see. We don't get to see the numbers behind it. So MMR is what level you're playing at, and that can be totally different from the actual tier that you're in. So at the end of the season, I was gold 5 on my main account, and I had lost a bunch of games on it. And so my MMR was actually at silver 2. If I queued up for ranked, I would be playing against silver 2 players, but my rank would still show like gold 5. So your MMR can be higher, normal, or right in line with what your rank is, depending on your win rate and how well you've been doing. And that's what affects your LP gain and loss. And so when you have a hard reset in ranked at the end of a season, typically a hard reset is we've wiped the slate clean. You're starting over as if you hadn't done placements before, and we're not really factoring in your old MMR. Soft resets we are factoring in your old MMR. You'll do your placements, fighting about the same level that you were before we did the soft reset. And then you'll be placed in relation to that. So this season, season 7, they did a soft reset, which meant that they were taking your prior rank and your prior, or at least your prior MMR into account.
Yeah. So my prior MMR was garbage, basically, on that account. So when I reset it, I couldn't drag it back high enough. Also, I mean, a lot of speculation about how this works, but the games at the beginning of your placements are much more important than the games at the end, because it's trying to figure out if you're way lower than you should be. So like if you rattle off like 10 wins in a row, that's like if you win like 7 in a row and then you finally lose one, it feels like that's a lot better than losing your first 2 and then winning the last 8, right? So losing late is better than losing early, at least as far as initial placement goes.
Because at the beginning they're going to say, okay, this guy's winning, so we're going to keep placing him against harder opponents until he loses.
Right.
Then
when you lose, it goes, okay, this must be his MMR. Let's put him there.
And then you have to work your way back up.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the main thing that I would stress to people, especially around this time, because there's a lot of stress around placements. People really like agonize over them, and they think that it's like most people, if you ask them right now, they can't tell you what they went in their placements last year. So guys, don't worry about it. Everything is going to be fine. If you get placed in bronze, don't worry. You're going to be fine. You're going to dig your way out. Bronze is pretty easy to get out of, hopefully, if you're higher.
Well, and it's important to remember as well, and I didn't realize this until a couple weeks ago, but the highest you can place in your placements is Plat 1, which means that the entire top 1% of players, so a Challenger, Master, and D5 through D1, all the max that they can get placed right now is Plat 1. So if they're trying to fit the entire 1% in upper of the player base in like upper Plat, then they've got to fit the rest of the 99% of the player base somewhere between Plat 1 and Bronze 5. And so it kind of makes sense that if the top of the ladder falls down, every part of the ladder would be affected as they try to group everyone where they need to be.
Yeah, you got this like player-based compression, right? Like where it goes where like these people who are like way above us, like way far away, it has to squeeze us in closer to them. So naturally what happens is a big chunk of the player gets pushed down. So
So like Silver 3 could end up becoming the new Gold 5 until the ladder works itself out longer type of deal, because that's where it compressed all the Gold 5 players too, for example. So that's kind of how that looks as well. So that might be another reason why you drop.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It happens every year. Don't sweat it, guys. Like, just play your games. Just play your placement games and get them over with. So you can start playing ranked like you normally do. You'll get back. Like it'll be okay. It's a long season. All right, you've got like a year, so no worries. So yours, so let's figure out. So you're starting off the season. You were in Gold 5 as well, right?
Yeah, but my MMR was about Silver 2, almost Silver 1, probably somewhere in there.
Okay, yeah, because you didn't play a lot of games on your main either, right?
Well, I did through preseason, and before preseason started, I was like low Silver 2, almost Silver 3. I was actually in the warning for you're about to get demoted from Gold. So that's how bad of a loss streak I went on my main, and I stopped playing on it until the season ended because I was like, I don't want to lose this now.
Yeah, I don't want to lose.
So
all right, yeah. So yeah, I mean, let's see where you end up, right? So you won your first one.
Yeah, carried a 4v5 as Storm Raiders Vi. That's how you do it.
Feels good.
Welcome to solo queue. Welcome back. The Storm Raiders was a mistake, by the way. I didn't intentionally do it, but it worked.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, it worked.
I played 2 games of Vi in my placements, actually. My last 2 games were actually on Vi. But so currently, I have a 100% win rate on Lee Sin. I have not lost a Lee Sin game this season, which is pretty good, right? Like not too shabby. And then so I did get auto-filled, so that felt real bad. I got auto-filled to support when I queued jungle top. First time that's ever happened to me, so that felt really good, and I proceeded to promptly lose that game. And watched our jungler like fumble around, and
that's the worst.
It felt real bad, but that's it is what it is. And then I won the next 2, but so let's go through. All right, so
wait, hold on. I do have a question though.
Yeah.
Do you know that you can? And maybe our listeners don't know this. You can dodge in your placements, and it doesn't affect your record.
Yeah, no, I did know that. Yeah. So
okay.
You just lose that. You lose MMR, but you don't lose like a loss or a win, right?
Yeah. So like if I get autofilled in my placements, you best believe I'm going to dodge because I'm not playing one of my placements as a support. In fact, honestly, if I can afford to dodge only once a day, like I don't want to play anything other than jungle in my placements, to be 100% honest.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I only played 1 game of top. I played every game as jungle except for every game except for 2 games I played 1 game of top Nautilus, and I played 1 game of support. And nice. I only lost 1 game on jungle, which felt pretty good. So yeah, so far I've had a good time. I had a fun time in placement. The games were crazy, as they always are. Placement time is weird time for League.
Yep.
So I guess let's get into let's do like a tiny little. Let's treat this as the season 7 guide. Because people are coming
Summoner
back.
Sift.
Yeah, guide to season 7 placement, right? All right, so let's start off with a couple of things. So if you haven't played much, if you didn't play during the preseason, let's just start off. I think a good place to start, and the first question that everybody always has, like that first moment of panic when you queue up and you haven't played in a while, is, oh God, what do I ban? I don't know what to do. Like, oh, what do I ban, right?
Yeah.
So currently, what do you think people should be banning?
Well, Ivern is actually a decent ban because he's strong with the way the jungle works. Vi is a great ban. She's actually perma-ban right now in high elo because she is so good. Lee Sin's not a bad ban at all. As far as outside of that, Alawi is always a solid ban because I went 0-4 in lane as her the other day and then proceeded to destroy the rest of the game once I got my ult. The champion is so unfair. Yeah. Even with the nerfs to Vayne, I still say that you could ban her because her invisibility is hard to deal with. Twitch is a good ban. And that's pretty much
all right.
I only get one band, so those are the ones that I tend to focus
So I'm
on.
gonna go through what I think should be banned because they're slightly different than what you. So all right. So I think like as far as currently, I feel like the top bans that I want to see banned in like virtually every game are Rengar, because he is broken. He is really, really good. I also, plus he's very good in 2 lanes. And he's actually has an insane ban rate right now. I think it's like 75%. I ban him just because I don't want to play the Rengar game. Although like I match up pretty well as Lee against him. I think that Kha'Zix should be banned virtually every game because I think that Kha'Zix is crazy broken. I think that I actually feel like Yasuo is currently worthy of a ban. Because I think they're going to nerf him. They've already said. I think they're going to tune him. He has been very powerful in every single game that I've been in. I've seen a lot of Hecarim bans, but I feel like there should be 4 junglers banned in every game. I feel like it should be Rengar should be banned, and I feel like Kha'Zix should be banned, and I feel like Hecarim should be banned. And then I actually feel like if you're on the opposing side and not picking first, I actually think you should ban Lee Sin. And then from there, I think a lot of the champions that you talked about, I think it's like Vi, Ivern. I could see Ivern, but the problem is that our MMR, like there are no good Ivern.
I just won the 4v5 against an Ivern. So if they're not good at Ivern, like you're fine. Shyvana also, if you're low MMR.
I think Shyvana's up there too.
She punishes. She really does punish.
So I feel like your big bans right now are, it's like Kha'Zix, Rengar, like those 2 are very important. And then after that, I think it's like Hecarim, Shyvana, Vi, Lee Sin. So it's like all these junglers.
Yeah.
Like it's like 6 junglers. And then like I think Vayne is probably in there somewhere. But to be honest, like she's actually not winning as much as Twitch is.
And Caitlyn is winning a ton too.
Yeah, and Caitlyn too. Mid lane, I think what we'll talk about is like you should just be banning junglers for the most part. You should not be banning like mid laners. Like there's no mid laner really that you should be banning. I don't think.
LeBlanc is worth a ban.
Syndra and Yasuo, I feel like are the only ones that are really like there. I could see LeBlanc if you just can't play against her, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, I don't think any of that. Yeah. There's no top laners that I feel like are insanely overpowered currently.
I'll say this much too. Like if you're a support and you're like you like banning another support out or whatever, like if you're looking to ban for your role, top lane, I actually think a good ban is Poppy with Courage of the Colossus. Like Poppy eventually just gets unkillable, regardless. It's actually annoying. And if you're playing support, Sion is a great support to ban because he is ridiculous in the bottom lane with the way his stats work. So if you're a player that focuses on your lane bans, there are some in your lanes that I think are definitely worth banning.
Yeah. I mean, I think like if you can't handle a certain champion, I think that's fine. I think but basically if you look top 5 bans, like, in the game currently, it's Rengar, Yasuo, Kha'Zix. Talon is receiving a number of bans currently. I don't really know why. Vayne, Hecarim, Syndra, LeBlanc, Zac, and then Katarina are the top 10. Vayne is still high up there. I think that just because like she can actually deal with the tanks, right? That have Courage of the Colossus and stuff like that. So you should be banning junglers, because like they're bad. They're real good right now, like we said. They're carrying games.
Jungle is the way to carry right now, honestly. Like jungle is just the way to carry your solo queue games. Not saying you can't carry in other roles, but jungle like enables you to carry the hardest, I think.
I would agree. Yeah. So I think, if you're just queuing up and you're like, hey, I'm just playing some games, I haven't played since last season. Hey, just ban like good junglers. Ban like Rengar, Kha'Zix, there's a bunch of resources out there, websites that you can go to that you should be able to find, who to ban. Bestbans.com is a really good one. You can actually type it in specifically for you, champion.gg is another good one. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm banning Kha'Zix every game because he is so brave.
If I can ban, I ban Kha'Zix, actually. That's true. I
feel like I can play around Hecarim and I can play around Rengar, but God, Kha'Zix is just so frustrating to play against.
Yep. And with all the carry junglers, I'm actually not afraid of things like Shyvana in the jungle occasionally because Red Smite's so strong that I've been taking it now, and I don't have a problem 1v1ing pretty much anyone.
Man, I can't remember Red Smite. I haven't played with Red Smite in a while.
Red Smite, especially if you're playing Lee. Well, okay, I know that you're playing Lee, so you get the green Smite with the wards.
I get green. Yeah.
But Red Smite is really strong right now. It is 20% damage reduction. that's huge. Red Smite is amazing.
Yeah. All right, so that's what you should be banning. What do we think people should be picking? So,
all right.
As far as junglers, I think
everyone we just listed as a ban is someone you should pick.
Exactly. Which one of that list do you know how to play those guys? Because
love it.
And the other thing I would say is in your placements, people are dead set on their champion, their comfort champions. They want to play what they play. They don't pick for the team. So especially you, as being the guy that is more flexible and actually has a brain, you should look at comp a little bit. Do we have a tank? Do we have an AP? Do we have, some things? But I wouldn't go too far in that direction, you know what I mean? If you don't know how to play Zac, don't just pick him because you think you need tanky AP. Play your champion, but pick for comp.
My two best champions right now are Vi and Rek'Sai, 100%. Which means that if I see that my team needs a tank, I can switch to Rek'Sai, and then I focus all of my attention on the early game and doing as much as I can before I fall off and get tanky, and I just peel. But with Vi, I can ignore the early game, even though she's really good at ganking early. I just farm up till I have Trinity Force and take over. But I can at least adjust because I have two picks that are different styles that I'm equally good on and can carry a game still. So that's the kind of flexibility you want. Picks that you're good on that you can adjust based on your comp.
That's actually why I ended up having to play Vi games. Is I had to adjust because Lee is the pick rate is so heavy on him right now that he's actually getting banned pretty heavily. Which is a bummer because that probably means the nerfs are coming. But he's very solid. But I think Vi was just a super easy switch, and man, Triforce is real good on that champion right now.
Once you get Triforce, you just delete people. It's insane.
Her damage is just insane right now.
I'm so sad because she's gonna get nerfed. I know it, but it's okay.
Just so brainless. You just walk into them. You just queue into all of them and push R on somebody, and suddenly two people are dead and you're still barely alive. And it doesn't the game just becomes so easy. You don't even have to, especially considered all the Lee games that I've been having to play, where I'm playing Lee and there's so much to think about. It's okay, I have to pressure the map and where am I gonna gank this guy from, and then does he have sums? Does he this? And Vi is just nah, man, just queue them.
But if you miss your queue, it's the worst feeling in the world, especially if you do it from no vision.
Feels real bad.
If they don't see you and you miss your queue, you should feel bad.
But man, jungle is the way to win. If you want to win, you should be playing jungle, if possible, because it's just super strong. I know we say that we've been saying that a lot lately, but it's just 100% the way to win right now.
And if you are looking at other roles for what to pick or what to play, think about the new masteries like Courage of the Colossus. If you're playing support, really good ones are Thresh that can proc that. But also because of the amount of carry junglers that are in the game right now, if you can play a support that peels like Janna, who's pretty much always a solid pick. Nami's a decent pick. Soraka can't peel necessarily, but she can heal at least. Play what you think. There's a lot of carry junglers and carry players in the meta right now, so peeling is really, really good. So if you're playing support, that may be, or top lane even, you can look into playing some of that.
Yeah, so I mean, on support, you should be playing stuff like, Thresh. Scion is actually really good right now.
Sion's amazing right
Sion's a
now.
very good support. He's actually a very good top laner too. Janna is actually very, very good right now. She's sort of the exception to the Colossus rule, but man, like she peels like no other. And with just kind of the way the game works right now, Janna's very, very solid. Brand too. I've seen a lot of Brand,
Yep.
And people just super aggressive with Brand. So top lane, obviously, like it's sort of the old staples, except they brought like some of the old ones came back. Like we're like a little far removed on the top lane meta. It's almost like become like tanks. It's Nautilus. Yeah. I see a lot of Malphite. I've seen more
Maokai.
Yeah, Maokai. Darius is actually Champion.gg has him as the best top laner currently, which makes sense because he's very good against those champions like Maokai and Nautilus. So if you know how to play Darius, he's really, really good. And I've seen a fair bit of Singed actually lately. I don't know exactly why. I don't know. I feel like Rylai's got nerfed, but man, like a lot of people have been playing Singed. Although I've been beating most of those Singed, so I don't know. Maybe that's just a weird thing that's going on right now.
And then the picks have just been so strange.
Yeah, it's preseason, right? So it's going to take a little while for it to. Teemo was crazy broken for a while. I don't know if they've actually hotfixed him yet, but currently, just for the last week, Teemo has been like the freest of freelo. Have you heard about the Teemo thing?
I haven't. Since I've been out of town, I haven't been able to hear about it.
Okay, so Teemo, I don't think they've actually fixed this yet, but his E actually applies on hits, and it procs Thunderlords. So like the ticks of his E, like the poison.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he was like, you would E someone and it would proc Thunderlords. Like that's all you had to do. And he's just doing so much damage. So
which
Teemo,
basically just means like E is just toxic darts, right? Like it's just empowered autos permanently.
So all you had to do was just attack them, and
oh my gosh,
and people were. It was just crazy. He was just doing so much damage.
Man.
So play some Teemo. He's freelo right now. He's very abusable currently. He procs Thunderlords. He'll also proc Deck Fire Touch off of it. He's just so annoying, like super annoying. So a lot of people are trying to like ban him, but I know that Teemo has been seeing a lot more play, so I strongly suggest looking at him.
Lux is another one that is especially with the Elementalist Lux skin. Lux is a big one that's come back into play.
I think that skin actually sort of like just uncovered Lux. People had sort of forgotten about her, but you would think generally when a skin like that gets released, the win rate of the champion just takes a nosedive, right? Like it's just like
yeah, but hers skyrocketed.
Hers went crazy. It just went up, and like Champion.gg has her as the number one player.
And here's the thing about Lux, especially the Elementalist Lux skin. If you have not seen that skin, if you've not seen the YouTube video for it, all of her abilities throughout the game, they changed the way they look, like the particle color and everything. You really should watch the YouTube video on like the champion spotlight or the skin spotlight so you can see exactly what her Q, her E, and her W now look like, because people have been complaining since its release that they're confusing abilities because they're like unclear on which one she's firing out. So you don't know, like people have been flashing her W, which is just a shield. It doesn't actually do anything because they think it's her E or her Q. So like go watch the video on Elementalist Lux so that you are not confused when you see her in game.
Yeah, because you are absolutely going to see her in game. I think I've seen her in literally every game I've played.
Yeah.
She's everywhere. Everybody is playing that skin. It's a cool looking skin, to be honest. So.
Yeah, it's a great skin. I think it's fantastic, but it is a little unclear. That is fair.
I love having Luxes in my games because she's a great champion to gank for. Like, she's a perfect champion to gank for, especially on Lee, because she has a ranged snare. She has a slow, like, she has damage. Like, she can do stuff. Yeah. Like, it's just, I love that champion, like, as a mid laner. Those control, like, when control mages are the mid lane meta, I'm like, yeah, buddy. Like, when it's Orianna, Ziggs is back. People are playing Ziggs. I love ganking for those champions because they like do stuff. You know, they have CC. They're not just like an assassin that just goes in and like hopes to do as much damage as possible. So
Yeah.
it's nice. And when they're behind, you can still gank for them. You know, it still works. It's good times. So control mages, play more Lux. I'm all about it. I hope everybody plays Lux. That would be great. As long as it's less Yasuo, right? So if you know how to play, if you know how to play Yasuo, you should absolutely be playing Yasuo virtually everywhere you can play him. You know, top mid. But you know whether or not you know how to play Yasuo.
I don't know. Maybe. So you know the rule. If there's a Yasuo on your team, you lose. If there's a Yasuo in the game, you lose.
You lose, right?
If there's a Shaco in the game, you lose. That's one of the rules of League of Legends.
Rules of League, you always lose, right? LeBlanc seems good, although I haven't seen LeBlanc's like hard carry games. But LeBlanc,
that's because people just haven't figured out how to use her new passive the way that it needs to be.
But man, like I have seen LeBlancs get sneaky fed all of a sudden. I'm like, how did they get so fed? All of a sudden they're 8-0. You're like, what is happening? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Very weird.
And if she gets that chain proc on you, like all of your health is gone immediately. She's just, she's really good. If you don't try to play her like her old kit worked, and are more patient with your combo, you can still hard carry games with her, no problem.
Yeah. The other ADCs, we don't play a ton of ADC on this cast, but it's pretty much the same 5 that were good before. You should be playing Twitch, Vayne, Jhin, Ezreal, Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones. You know, those 5. In that order is probably what you should be playing. Most of the other stuff, like what isn't working right now is Lucian. Lucian is not very good. Ashe is not very good. You know, Sivir is actually not very good again. So she's kind of come back around. The big thing I think that's really weird is Lucian not being good. It's been a long time since Lucian's been bad, you know, because it felt like he was bad and then they figured out that Black Cleaver build and then he was good again. But Lucian's just not working. He just gets destroyed in every game I'm in. So, so that's the roles. That's what you should be playing, right?
Also, if you play Karma, she's not amazing right now, but Karma is really strong in a meta full of a bunch of shields and shield procs. So, like, if you're a good Karma, take her into ranked. She's not free low, but if you're already good at her, you'll be fine.
Yeah, she's very good in this meta because again, she peels very well. You know, she peels well, she engages well. I think Karma's probably, she kind of dodged a lot of the nerfs that she probably deserved because of the season change. Everyone just sort of like forgot about Karma, and now she's sort of strong again.
There's all these more exciting things to play.
Yeah, there's all these cool, neat things. So, all right, so item builds. So let's get into anything else like you would add about champion selection for the preseason.
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered that. So what items are we building? So you mentioned Red Smite. That's new. That's newish.
Yeah. Red Smite is ridiculously strong if you play any sort of dueling jungler, especially if you're playing a carry jungler. Red Smite's amazing. Even as Rek'Sai, and I go tank with Rek'Sai, like I still can build Red Smite. It's so strong. With Vi, I will, if I see like 2 players, like 2 champions, and I ult one of them, I'll Red Smite the other one, the one that I'm not trying to kill, so that they can't kill me while I delete their carry. Because Vi has enough CC to like keep them from doing any damage to you while you murder them and punch their face off.
Yeah.
But like Red Smite is really strong. It's a 20% damage reduction, and if you can auto them even once, it has a burn effect to it. So Red Smite is really strong right now. Blue Smite, I don't see it as much, but it's always a solid smite. But I love Red Smite for a jungler.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually looking at the pro builds page, and every single jungler on the page in every pro game has built Red Smite except for one. So Red Smite's good. There you go. You know that
Red Smite is really
Red
good.
Smite's real good. I've been building Green Smite on Lee, but I think you could totally get away with Red. Depending on the build that you're going, you can go that weird. There's a weird Lee build where you go Red Smite into Sightstone, but you actually build Ruby Sightstone because you're building Titanic and Tiamat, so you get procs off of the Tiamat faster because it affects it. And then they generally go either Locket or Randuin's because you get more out of it that way. I haven't been building that one a lot because I really like the early green smite, but I could see it.
Yeah, Red Smite is just so strong, and with a champion like Lee that can duel really well early, like, or in his early ganks are really good. Like Red Smite is, it might be worth investigating.
So items that are good right now. So just in general, Red Smite's real good, right?
Yep.
Cinderhulk's not so good right now. You really, if you're playing a champion that builds Cinderhulk, other than maybe Olaf's probably the only one that I can think of that's reasonable.
Zach.
Yeah, and Zach. But
Zach, because he scales off of health.
Yeah, I mean, you should really be thinking, like, what am I doing with my life? Because there's not a whole lot of Cinderhulk champions that are really good right now. Maybe not. You just, so, like, it's okay, like, if that's, if you're sort of gonna be playing that type of jungler, and that's what it is, but you should really be looking to play the warrior junglers. We're kind of getting back to that, I think, where warrior junglers are better again. What items aren't real good? So I feel like, I'm stocked down on Rylai's because Rylai's is bad. That item has seen some heavy nerfs, right? So Rylai's isn't very good. You probably shouldn't be building that. You probably shouldn't be finishing Hex Drinker. Right?
Yeah, if you you mean Maw?
Yeah, you shouldn't be building Hex into Maw. What else? So,
I want to say, shoot, what is it? I just saw it and now it's gone. Edge of Night. Do not build Edge of Night if you can't remember to channel it. Edge of Night is.
Yeah, I have built that item like one time and I was super unimpressed with it. Like,
yeah,
I think it's very corner casey.
Yeah, Duskblade is bad if you're not snowballing, I think, on most champions that would build it. It's really a snowball item. So I would kind of avoid it unless you're really good and know what you're doing with the champion that you're playing and you're ahead significantly.
Yeah, it feels like Triforce is good again. So Triforce is very, very good right now.
Yep.
That seems like a good item. Swifties are sort of meh. I haven't been building Swifties at all, and I haven't been super impressed when I have built them.
Merc Treads and Tabby are the two that are really good right now for boots.
Yeah, I think that you should be building Merc Treads or Tabby. Or if you're like snowballing hard, Lucidity. I build Lucidity on Lee when I'm getting ahead because it lets you just get way, way further ahead. Because there's that build on Lee where you're going Warrior into Lucidity boots into early Cleaver where you're just like, you have 40% CDR right away, and you're just you can make a lot of plays. You have a lot of kicks.
You're maximizing that snowball period.
Yeah, you're just running it up. But you really shouldn't be building Lucidity or Swiftness boots right now. I don't think those are very good.
I would agree.
Deadman's Plate's still good. You should probably be building that over Randuin's most of the time. Right.
Unless you're in a game with like a Jhin or a Caitlyn or like someone who really likes to crit. Dead Man's Plate is still really good, I think.
I think one thing that I have noticed on junglers, I have not been building Youmuu's where I was before. I don't feel like it's very good on junglers right now. It's a little expensive for what it does. And without that flat, because the reason you built the old one was you got, that flat armor pen and you just spiked so hard when you got it. But now where it's lethality instead,
it's lethality. You don't have the attack speed buff. It's just a movement speed on the active.
I'm sort of stocked down on that item right now. I'd just much rather have that build path. I feel like should be a cleaver most of the time. I mean, I could see one or two champions like Rengar. If you're playing Rengar, I think Youmuu's is still pretty good. I think that's arguable though. Still, it's an ADC item firmly now.
I think Redemption, if you're a support, Redemption, Knight's Vow, some of those are really, really good.
So I think
This
out of the two, I think Redemption is the one you should be building, right? Like,
Yes, Redemption is the one for
so a
sure.
lot of people probably haven't seen that thing. It's basically the stats on it are insane. It's a support item, and I think I can't remember exactly what it builds out of, but it. But
Basically, it's a giant AoE smite that heals your team and does damage to the enemy team.
yeah, I mean it's
and you can use it after you're dead. Like if you've never seen Redemption yet, like it's a really powerful item.
Yeah, it builds out of Forbidden Idol and Crystal Embracer, so the build path is actually really, really good. It's cheap. It gives you It gives you 400 health, 75% of base mana and health reduction, and then 10% cooldown. Also, it has the 10% bonus healing and shielding, so it's good on a lot of those champions anyway. But then it has the big nuke, the true damage nuke. You know, it does 10% of maximum health true damage to enemy champs. It does a lot more damage than people think. Like it's a significant chunk. It also does 250 true damage to minions, and it heals allies in the circle. It's just when the fight starts, just Redemption the team. You know, just Redemption the big fight, and good things happen. That item is so good. You should be building it. Yeah, it's sort of like how Targon's was, where it was too strong for what it did. Redemption feels the same way.
And GA is a great item, by the way. If you're not building it, like you should definitely be building GA, especially if you play a carry jungler or a carry laner.
Yeah, I feel like GA is like the early like I'm snowballing and I don't want to die sort of item. But I mean, builds haven't changed that much, I think, right now. No. But I think certain items are better than others. I think Yomu's is definitely the one that I think fell off the map. More people are building Cleaver and Triforce. I think I would stay away from that item right now. And then
ADCs, your builds really haven't changed that much.
It's pretty much the same. And I would assume ADC builds are so specific to the ADC themselves that, you probably know what you should build. Yomu's, that's the only time you're going to build. I also think the one item that I haven't seen a ton of is ZZ Rots.
I have in top lane.
I think it's only on the top laners. Some of the supports were building it for a while, and the really tanky top laners. I think Scion's building it, things like that.
Nasus is building it,
yeah. But I mean, it's not as crazy as it once was, I think. Oh, Locket is not as good as it was. If you're playing support, you shouldn't be rushing Locket immediately like you used to, because remember, it's not the same item. It doesn't give the aura. It is still good. It is still good, but so you still give the shield, but you're not giving that AoE magic resist aura. So
and Blade of the Ruin King, while it did get buffed, I don't see it really as a good standard item. It's more of like a complementary item to your snowball. It really it helps you keep your lead, but I don't really think it earns the lead all that much.
It's good on the champs. It's always been good on like Aurelia, Ezreal, Jax, Vayne, and then other than that, it's not like you're not building Bork on some of those like corner cases like Renekton. I remember Renekton used to build it when it was really broken, and Rengar for a while people were building it. Like you're also not building it on Zed anymore. It's not that good. They've gotten that item about right, I think. It fits its sort of tank killing sort of thing.
Yeah,
I think item wise, I think that pretty much covers it.
It's I'm sorry. Mostly standard builds. If you've been building things like if you've been playing the preseason, it's mostly anything you've been building in the preseason is still good now.
Right. Yeah. Redemption is very good. So that's I think the biggest new item that is as big, and Yomu's is no longer good. So those are the two big things that I would say. I think that about covers items.
All right, let's jump into masteries.
So Courage of the Colossus is good.
Yep, I need to recant. Well, sort of. I need to edit a statement I made in prior episodes, which is Courage of the Colossus. If you're not building health, I would always say like don't take it. I will say this, like someone like Vi, if you're playing Vi at an elo where you don't tend to consistently get snowballed with Vi, go Courage of the Colossus.
The
Go Courage of
tree
the
is good.
Colossus. Yeah, like the tree is really good, and like it's a great item to help you stay even in the game. Or I mean, not item, mastery. Like it is. So if you once you're at the level that like your games are more even and not snowbally, that's when you want to take Courage on champions that normally, like I would tell you, like Thunderlords or something else.
I think that's the biggest thing I would say about this preseason that you mentioned, Thunderlords, is I think Thunderlords is really good again. So whereas before junglers would almost always take Soda as the default, a lot of those junglers have defaulted to Thunderlords, like back that way. And I feel like if you've ran Thunderlords on champions in the past, it's probably good on them now. So champs like Vi, Lee Sin, those champs, like Thunderlords is really good on again. Kha'Zix, it's good on. So those sort of champions.
But it's good on the champions that you're good with. Like, if you're going even, like play safer. But if like right now I'm consistently getting fed with Vi, so I take Thunderlords.
Mm-hmm.
But when the day comes that I start getting like more evened out in my games, you best believe I'm going to switch over to Courage of the Colossus because I'm going to end up going into Dead Man's Plate and like Banshee's Veil or later as the game goes later. So
your boy's making a comeback with Thunderlords too. A lot of people playing Nocturne right now with Thunderlords. Yeah, so I mean it's weird because Bork came back and Bork is really good on that champion. So the new hotness on Nocturne is the Razor, the good old Razor Bork build. And then they're building like Frozen Mallet to like stick to people and just beat them down.
Nocturne is actually a really good pick right now if you know how to play him. Like,
he's really good again, which is cool because it's neat to see those old champions come back. So
love it, absolutely love it.
But Thunderlords is stock up, right? So Thunderlords, I think, is probably the big winner of the preseason. So.
Buy Thunderlords, buy Courage of the Colossus.
Yeah, buy Thunderlords, buy Courage of the Colossus. I'm down on Fervor. I'm down on Deathfire Touch. I'm down on Deathfire Grasp or whatever. It's Deathfire Grasp. Yeah, the drain one.
You mean Warlords? Warlords Bloodlust?
No, Grasp of the Is it Grasp?
Oh yeah, Grasp of the
Undying. Yeah, so I think Grasp is bad. Warlords is up. So Warlords is like your ADC, mastery. But I'm not. Bond is just bad. Don't play with Bond.
I mean, if you're like, it's okay in the champions that used to be okay with, but like if you're playing a champion that played it that has CC like Blitzcrank or like
you should be playing Courage.
Thresh, like you're playing Courage because you have CC. Like Courage is just better all around.
And if you really want that effect, you can get it off of Knight's Vow. I just Bond of Stone's in a really bad spot right now.
Grasp is good on champions like Alawi or others that can't proc Courage of the Colossus. But Grasp is really specialized now, where Courage is more of like that. If you can take Courage on this champion, you definitely should. I've seen Darius with it. Renekton's really good with it. Pantheon's really good with it. Yeah. It's just such a good mastery right now.
Yeah, Courage is heck. Renekton is real good with that. And Renekton's not in a good spot, but it's good on him, and that means that it's too good. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny.
And this is kind of an aside on it, but like I think that mastery has the best looking icon of all of them, in my opinion.
I think it's really cool too, actually. And you know what? It's very easy to see. It's easy to see when it procs.
It sticks out.
I think it's a very well, it's very well designed from a clarity standpoint. I don't know that it's a very well designed mastery because I've kind of hammered it for being like, duh, I go in, I get the buffs, but like, as far as knowing that he has a shield on him, it's pretty easy. It's very apparent. Thunderlords is kind of hard to see sometimes. And
since Courage of the Colossus came out, I don't think I've lost a game as Maokai.
Yeah. I haven't lost a game as Nautilus since it came out either. Because Nautilus is stupid OP with that mastery.
Yep.
Because his trade pattern got even better. So now he gets a shield too, and you don't have to push the W as fast as you used to. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should be playing Courage of the Colossus if you can. You should be playing Thunderlords if you can't. I think is
Yep.
sort of the where you're at. Other than that, like, don't play Fervor. Fervor's not very good. It's not doing anything. It's okay on Lee, but it's okay on Mastery, I was gonna say, but it's not good on attack speed junglers. Like, people like when Nocturne's not playing Fervor, you know something's wrong with it. Something's broken. Like, it's not working because that is like it's his jam. That's what he wants. Like, he wants to be attacking, and he's building Blood Razor, Blade of the Rune King, and he's still not using it. So
Yep, that's just not good.
Just not good right now. So play Thunderlords, play Courage of the Colossus. You'll do fine.
If you're playing a champion that has a specialized mastery, like, don't give up the specialized mastery for one of these two. You know, if you're a champ that normally takes wind speakers, take wind speakers.
Sure.
Like Janna with Courage of the Colossus is pointless, right?
Yeah, it's not going to do it. Well, you could queue them.
Yeah. But like that, or your ult, but like you're not in. Like, no one's gonna hit you again. That's the thing. So the shield is useless.
Got it. But I mean, yeah. But so you should know, like, hey, if I don't, but like those masteries are the strong masteries. You should be thinking that way when you're like, if you have a choice, like Vi kind of has a choice between a bunch of masteries. Like, Thunderlords is real good right now, and Courage of the Colossus is real good. So play those. Don't try too hard to make Fervor work, because it's not going to work. So I think that covers masteries. Not too much difference from the preseason. Thunderlords is good. Surprise.
Oh, this one. This is not like a keystone, but Greenfather's Gift, the one that gives you 3% max health, current health bonus magic damage if you've come from no vision or coming from a brush. Like, if you're playing a carry jungler like Vi, Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, take that mastery.
That thing on Lee is broken. It's
so clear. You get gold fists. Like, the clarity again on it is great. So take Greenfather's Gift.
It took a lot.
If you're going into the cutting tree.
It took a lot to get me off of Dangerous Game. Just realize that I'm taking it instead of Dangerous Game, which is like one of my all-time favorite masteries. But I'll tell you, that thing does a lot of damage, and it works like on everything. So if you're jungling, like, it works on the camps. So all you have to do is walk into the bush, and you get 3% like damage. For free.
If you're taking Grandfather's Gift and you're not using it on your first camp, you're using it wrong.
Yeah, you should be like every camp that you go to, you should be proccing that and using it on the camp.
Yep.
And that's one of those little tips for this season, because it's real good. That's a really good touch. Oh, don't take the Battle Trance Mastery in the Ferocity tree. There's three. I think it's like the fourth tree in. There's the one with Bounty Hunter, which is you get 1.5% increased damage for each unique enemy champion. And then there's the, deal 5, get 2.5. Take one of those two. Don't take the last. Battle Trance is bad. It's garbage. Like, it takes forever for it to scale up. It's just terrible.
Like, gaining up to only 5% increased damage over 5 seconds. Like, that's so long when Double-Edged Sword guarantees you that 5% additional damage.
You just get it for free, like, just right off. And like, think of the time that you have to ramp up to that, and think of the way that you trade, or like start a gank or something like that. Like, you want all that damage at the beginning, not over this long extended trade. I feel like that's a real junky mastery, and nobody should be playing with it. So,
agree.
Yep. And the only other one I would say that's real bad is Siege Master. I think Siege Master is total garbage. That's the one where you gain 8 armor and magic resist when near a tower. Like, it's like the worst. It just feels real bad. I like all the other masteries other than that one, but don't take Battle Trance. Take Greenfather's Gift. It's that simple. So I think that's our guide, right? Like, that's the quick, like, the down and dirty. Like, I think you should be able to do your placements off of that. If you can't, well, you know what? You probably belong where it puts you.
Yep. And if you're sitting in Champ Select and you are trying to remember this episode on what to ban, you have 5 seconds left. Kha'Zix.
Just ban a jungler.
Just ban Kha'Zix. Yeah,
just go, oh my god, who's a jungler? Like, just ban junglers and you'll be fine. Ban any good jungler that you can think of, and you'll be okay. So we have a listener question this week. again, we do a contest every week for listener questions, $10 in RP to the winner. The listener questions are a little slow right now because I think everybody's having holiday times, and I understand that. But hey, that means it's your time to come in and snipe, get that money, son, get it.
Yeah.
So let's go through this one. You want to read this question? This one comes from Lycos.
Sure. Yep. So he says, from a jungler's perspective, what is the biggest mistakes you see players make when the jungler comes to gank or help the lane? While I am personally interested in bot lane, I think the other laners are capable of making the same mistakes. Additionally, what is the biggest thing you want to see the lane players do to help you and help the gank, but frequently they don't do it? As a support main myself, I am currently experiencing the gambit of ways to screw up a bot lane gank attempt, such as being over-aggressive and getting caught, being under-aggressive and the jungler and or ADC being left hung out to dry, or warding the wrong places at the wrong time. So I feel like I'm starting to get a better idea of when my ADC wants to move in or move back, but I don't have that same instinct with the jungler. Thank you for any insight you can give.
All right. So do you want to start this one off, or you want me to?
Sure. So the first thing I think that comes to my mind with this is how you as a laner, how can you help me? The jungler should be pinging on the way when he's coming in, straight up. Like if he's not, like then that's terrible for you as far as communication. But what you really want to do, especially if you have a suspicion that bush is warded, is you want to be already fighting the laner before the jungler comes in, because otherwise their support and ADC can literally just turn around and focus down your jungler and then turn to you. So you want to be fighting them because A, they're distracted, so they may not even see your jungler come in. And if they think, oh, this is a bad time for, we can win this 2v2, and then all of a sudden the jungler appears. So you want to distract them, A, and B, you want to initiate so that they're already fighting, have already used a cooldown or two, and you guys can delete them. So those are, to me, those are some of the biggest things that I want my laners to do when I'm on the way in for a gank.
Yeah, I think that I would agree. I think the biggest thing there is just fight them. Just walk up and start fighting them. Don't worry whether or not it's a good trade. Don't walk into a giant minion wave. I think there's 2 points, right? One, be fighting the lane already. When I get there, you should be fighting them. 2, don't run into 1,000 minions and get killed by the minions, because I feel like that happens all the time. But that's partially on the jungler a lot of times.
If the jungler comes in at a bad time, the jungler came in at a bad time, you can't do anything about that.
Right.
So don't die for his mistake.
Don't die for his mistake if he's coming. Now, if it's me and I come down there and you sit there and farm minions, I'm gonna flame you in chat like you've never seen. Yeah. But because that's a. But
at the same time, if you as a jungler gank when they have two sitting under turret, you as the jungler are the idiot.
Then just call him an idiot and be like, dude, I was under turret and I had 10 minions in front of me. I can't.
Yeah. I'm already 20 behind. Let me CS what I can.
The other big thing I would say is don't always every gank is not flash blow all your sums. Okay, I'm all about being aggressive and fighting them, right? But sometimes you're gonna get down there and it's just not gonna work, right? And you're gonna go down there and you're gonna blow their flash. Your jungler's gonna come, he's gonna blow a flash and their ADC is gonna get out. You don't have to dive their turret. Realize that there's a certain series of events that has to happen for a gank to go well. And when you press really hard, especially early, level 3, level 4 for that first kill, because everybody they're feeling juice. They want to get that kill.
Yeah.
Don't blow both your flashes to start the gank. Because then it's got to. I feel like that happens a lot. It's our jungler's here, flash, ignite, every button, and it's all right, whoa, pump the brakes. Come with me, but you don't have to go crazy. Just let it happen. Let the game happen. Let the gank happen. Let it flow through. But
I just remembered one of the most annoying things that I ever have seen. It mostly happens bot lane because that's where you have multiple targets. But in any gank or any fight that you have a multiple target and one is about to get away while another one is still killable, don't tunnel vision on the one who's too far away that you're going to have to run under turret with no minions to hopefully get that last auto off. Okay, if if you're up against a Caitlyn and a Thresh, and you've got that Caitlyn within one auto and she's running away, don't chase her down. Turn and focus the Thresh who's still in the center of you guys. Yeah. Get the guaranteed kill because you've already put the other laner low enough that they can't do anything anyways. Turn and focus the free kill.
Yeah.
Please.
Get the kill. Yeah. Pick a guy.
Get the kill. Like,
just pick a guy.
Get the kill. Get the kill that is free. Don't turn a low risk gank into a high one.
Yeah, where we have to dive and we're like trying to get past, because that's when things. I mean, that's when the things go real bad. You know, when it's like level 4 and like people are flashing and like, you know, the Vayne has like, she's one auto away, you know, and you go under there and then suddenly their jungler shows up and kills you all under turret, and what was like a free, you know, 1 for 0 now turns into like a 2 for 2 or even worse. Like, just you know, just start fighting them. We'll be there. Yep. We're coming. Like, it's gonna be fine. Like,
now, granted, don't start the fight if we're at like a dragon or Baron pit still.
Yeah.
Like, fight it when we're like at the bush and almost in lane, when we're like 3 seconds away. But don't fight it when we're 5 to 10 seconds away.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is, if you're in the middle of a fight or they're coming in at a bad time and you don't want them to come in, ping them away. Like, especially if it's in the middle of the fight and they're starting to tunnel and you're like, I'm too low to keep going, use that danger ping and ping them off. Yeah. So it's clear, like, I'm not coming with you. If you keep going, I'm not there.
I'm not going, man. Like, you gotta
don't assume that they know. Don't assume that they know your mana. I always forget to check mana. I always do, and it's dumb. Yeah. Don't assume they know your cooldowns. Don't assume any of that. I mean, ping danger if you don't want them to come or if you're not going to keep going.
Yeah, like, and in those situations like we were talking about where you're trapped under your turret with like 10 minions and whatever, like, just ping the guy off, like, because you're not coming. Like, you might as well tell him, and he might get mad at you or whatever, but it's better than to come down and feed your lane, you know, getting 2v1 and just communicate is what I would say. And like, when you're coming down, just start. The biggest thing that I would just love for laners to do is just start fighting them naturally. Like, hey, I'm coming, start fighting them. You don't have to like flash on top of them, you know, flay, exhaust, the whole nine. Like, you don't have to go crazy, but like, just start fighting them, because that's enough for them to become distracted. And I junglers know how to gank, most of them. You know, we know what we're trying to do. You know, we know the plan. Like, just all you have to do is just keep them busy. Just keep them busy for a second. Fight them, you know, because that's the number one thing you'll ever hear on a comm. Like, when a jungler's coming to gank a lane, is, hey, fight him. You know, that's all. Go in. Go fight that guy. I'm coming. And just trust that he'll be there. You know.
Last thing, and you mentioned this isn't necessarily part of the question, but it was in it, which is warding at the wrong places at the wrong time. If their jungler has just shown across the map, that's not the time for you to place a trinket ward or a sightstone ward.
I feel like that happens all the time.
Ward when you think there is a high possibility that you'll be ganked in the time that ward will last. Don't ward when you know where everyone is and it's not going to matter.
Right. Hey, let me go get some useless information. Hold on. Let me go leave my lane.
No one's still there.
Lose some experience because I know the jungler's top, so I feel like this is a great time for me to ward. You know?
Granted, if you know the jungler's top, but they have like a Katarina that's looking to roam down all the time, or an Ahri or whatever, okay, then that makes more sense. But if it's just their jungler you're worried about, do it when you know that their jungler is on the bot side of the map, or you have a suspicion of it.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is like, hey, if you want to gank, make sure there ain't no pinks in those bushes. There better not be a control ward in a bush when I come down there. If that is the most annoying, that like, I'll leave that with like the biggest mistake that I see that lanes do. They will spam ping me for a gank like nothing else. I'll be in the river and I'm fighting the crab and they're just assist. And like, you're like, okay, fine, I'm coming. And so you walk right down the river because it's the only way you can go. And well, you just walk right over a control ward. And it's like, really? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. What are you doing?
And I'll say this much too, and this is adding on to that because this bugs me. One of the things I try to do is if there's no ward for my team in that bush as I'm coming in, I leave a ward behind me as I'm entering the gank so that I can see the counter gank. And if there's a control ward in that bush already, my ward's going to be useless. So I like get those control wards out of there if you can, or at least let me know that it's there.
If you
right?
want ganks,
Like-
yeah, tell me that they're there. Like, communicate where their wards are. You know, or at least don't let me walk over control ward. I mean, normal wards, it's whatever. You know, I get it. Like, hey, sometimes you don't know they're there. Sometimes you just say you haven't had a control ward to get rid of it. But don't you dare let me come down there and there be a control ward in that bush. Especially you bot laners. I don't want to see it. If I walk through that bush and there's a control ward in there, it just irritates me to no end.
And if you're in the position where you're like, well, I can't clear the ward or else I'll die, well, then chances are you're not going to get a gank anyways because you're the lane that's losing.
Yeah, you're losing.
So,
like, what am I supposed to do? If I come down there, you're just going to die anyway. So
yeah, we're all going to die. So I'm not going to do that. Like,
clear your wards.
Yep.
So, all right. So great question. You know, congratulations to Lycos. Thanks for sending that in. That's a good talking point. So next week we're going to do something a little different. I want the questions. I want to hear the questions. But here's the thing. We want listener questions next week, and we're going to continue to do listener questions every week. But this week we're going to do a little something special. This week, what I want the stories. I want the placement stories. I want to hear them. I want to hear my God. I grouped up and I had 2 AFKs in a row, and then I got matched against a challenger Rengar, and then he killed my Katarina 17 times, and that's how, you know. I want to hear the grand wily tale, your fish stories of your placements. So send those in. I want to hear those placement stories. Summonerssift@gmail.com. We want to hear them, and we'll do a special reward for the best one of those, because I'm pretty excited to hear those.
And they exist. My 4v5 Vi Storm Raiders Surge game where their support Morgana went mid with a Jhin, and that's how and then they left their Ezreal bot solo as ADC. Like,
yeah.
It happens. You will get those stories.
I 100% want a 4v5. I actually linked you to it. In my placements where our Yasuo went AFK, and me and Brand just solo carried the game. Me and that dude together. Well, we duo carried the game.
Yeah.
We just carried that game, and our Yasuo was AFK for a good 15 minutes in a 22-minute game. We ended up looking super early too. Like, I'm
looking at this match history. Like 13-3-8 was your KDA, and Brand was 7-3-13. Like, holy cow!
It was a 26-minute game, and we actually just straight up won that game.
Your Nami had 8 kills. That's amazing.
Yeah, you can do it, and I want to hear.
You can do it.
You know, so
stay positive. It's your placements. Positive. It doesn't matter anyway. Like,
don't worry about it. Things are gonna be all right. It's a long season. Get out there and get ready to play some League of Legends. It's gonna be. Don't stress about it, people. All right, final bit of advice for your placements, other than go out there and play them.
Don't surrender. Like, they will always throw. Don't surrender.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Never. Yeah.
Flame your jungler.
Flame your jungler. Always blame your jungler.
Blame your jungler, folks.
Especially if they are the Benson or Projector.
Yeah, it's always their fault for not ganking your lane.
You know, actually, right before we leave, I want to say this. I wish reverse flaming existed. Yeah. I wish, like, when you did well as a jungler, I'm like, man, I'm so glad you installed League of Legends.
Yeah, man,
you should play jungle every game. Like, if we could start that bad, please. Yeah. Like, I think it'd be hilarious.
I would love to see some positive reinforcement for your jungler, because, like, dude, I played so many games. Dude, I went 8-2 in my placements on jungle, and no one ever told me, "Hey, good job, buddy. Nice job carrying the crap out of that game. Solid work. Thanks for taking my lane."
I get a quadra kill, GJ. But I die once. You're the worst jungler ever. Kill yourself.
KYS. GG.
Look,
GG.
Reverse flame.
I wish we had a jungler. It's like,
be positive. God. Be positive.
Yeah.
You never want to be positive.
Yep. I mean, I was 11. I had 11 kills on Lee Sin in a game versus a Riven, and the Riven killed our mid laner like 15, 20 minutes into the game. And he was like, GG, wish we had a jungler.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, well, okay, fine. You know, and then I proceeded to just win that game. And I mean, It's thankless, man. Give your junglers some love. Say thanks.
Yep.
Or continue flaming and be just like the rest. But I want to hear your stories. So
Yes, please.
that's it.
Send
That's
them in.
it. That's it. In the can, episode 12, Summoners Sift. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.